Dear Life Church, the morning of April 20th, 2022 started like every other day. Once I got to the office, I took my morning ibuprofen that I depended on and attended a day meeting at 10 a.m. with all the staff from 6 locations. This week, unlike most, I was at the Lafayette location while others traveled. Unbeknownst to me, I had spaced out on the morning call. One of my warehouse managers was worried about me. I happened to text him to come to my office after the meeting, and he immediately came up and asked if I was feeling okay. I told him I wasn't, and I thought I was having a stroke. He immediately called 911, and I don't remember much after that, although they tell me that I was alert and talking. I had lots of dreams and flashes of waking up to see my 11-year-old boys, my wife, and my parents. I woke up and I couldn't speak, and I wasn't sure why. My sister had gotten me a dry erase board, and I began answering questions, writing the names of my family. I thought it was the next day, April 21st, only to find out that it was actually June. I had slept through the entire month of May. How could this happen? Is this real? Am I alive? Is this heaven? Or is this just a really awful dream? I was hooked up to all kinds of machines with lots of doctors and nurses coming in, poking and prodding. Over the next few hours, days, and weeks, as my mind began to clear, I had lots of questions, and I began to realize what I had been through. I was transferred to the ICU from the hospital rehab to a rehab hospital, and I spent the next month stabilizing for the greatest challenge of my life. I was known as the Miracle Man by some of my aides. These interactions began to stir more questions, and I began asking my family about it. I would learn that I had had a severe hemorrhagic stroke, a brain bleed deep inside the basal ganglia part of the brain that controls fine motor skills and emotions, along with lots of other things that we take for granted. I had been taken to Franciscan and then Lifeline to St. Vincent, where they eventually placed me on a ventilator, and I was sedated. When I was removed from the ventilator 10 days later, my throat immediately swelled shut, and I began gasping for air. I went into cardiac arrest, and they attempted to intubate me again. I went through several minutes without air and was brought back with CPR. Doctors prepared my family for the tests that needed to be done to see if I had any brain activity. I was unresponsive for a few days. By the grace of God, they couldn't see any brain damage. I was given a tracheotomy and stayed on a respirator for 14 days, and then began waking me up. I had also gotten staph infection in my blood and lungs and lost most of my muscle. For someone who brought home report cards consistently marked "talks too much," not having a voice was so much to say was beyond frustrating. Getting the trach removed was a big step for me. I was transferred to Lafayette Regional Rehab Hospital on June 16th of 2022. I wasn't able to sit on the edge of the bed or hold my head up. And I hadn't seen my boys in 2 months, and I missed so much. I was on a journey, but little did I know I was the co-pilot. The captain was with me from the beginning, and he had been nudging me in that direction for years. I just had been too stubborn to realize or accept it. I was lost physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I had a lot of guilt about what I had been through, and I asked, why me? Not because of my condition, but why did God save me when there are far better Christians that are for more grace and mercy than He blessed me with? I had a lot of lonely nights and opportunities to meditate, read, and soul search about what had happened, where I was, and where I wanted to be. One night, I found the prayer of salvation, Romans 10:9. I woke up early the next morning and started my day by reading a devotional and a prayer. It was about giving up your troubles and problems to the Lord and concentrating on the relationship you have with Him. I began to work on myself physically and spiritually. I committed myself to God and began leading my boys to Jesus and walking with Him. I slowly began to improve, and things started to come along quicker. I met some truly incredible people along the way, and I know God put them in my life for a reason. One of them was a therapist at Lafayette Regional Rehab. She went to great lengths to make sure that I was progressing in my journey. She came in early almost every day, knowing that I would be up and wanting to work. We would go to the gym. She would stand with me for what started as 3 minutes and gradually worked up to 10 minutes. I knew she was a good Christian woman without really talking about our faith. I began to change, and my entire outlook began to transform. I knew that when I went to the gym and people saw how hard I worked, that I could inspire them. If nothing else, I could put a smile on their face and brighten their day. And I made it a goal to make someone smile each day, and with each smile, I began to heal as well. As a person who arrived on June 16th and couldn't sit up, I walked out with a walker on August 16th. I also became aware that the Lord had placed people in my life long ago that continued to inspire and lead by example. When I was 12 years old, I had a summer baseball coach who also became my basketball coach and has remained in my life ever since. When my college football career in Arizona didn't work out as I had planned, I was lost. He called me and offered me an opportunity to coach with him alongside my father on his staff. He didn't need me. He had more basketball knowledge than anyone I ever met, but he knew that I needed to be around positive influences and saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. Coach Dunwoody is the type of person I can only hope that my sons will come across as impressionable young men. I've known Chad and Amy since they were dating in college, and I've learned so much from them. Once COVID restrictions were lifted, he was one of the first people that came to see me. And he comes over and has texted me weekly since. He shared with me that he and Amy had been attending Life Church. I downloaded the app and began watching old messages and attending online. John and Britt are both amazing speakers and really have ability to make God's word very relatable. So my first outing was a Sunday in October, and I remembered the message was humbled and broken. It was literally as if John was talking to me. Life Church has been one of the biggest blessings that has come from this, and is such a special place, and I thank you all sincerely. After all that I've been through and how upside down my life has been flipped, I have never felt so confident about myself and who and where I am. I will make a full recovery in God's time, but right now I'm enjoying the ride. After surviving a stroke at 45 years old and even enduring a divorce after 20 years of marriage, I'm learning that the breaking was truly the blessing, and I'm thankful for every part of my journey. Life Church and everyone here has been a huge part of that. From the team greeting me the first day to the relationship I forged with my Maker, I can't thank everyone enough. The best part is, I believe the miracles have only just begun. After all that I've been through and how upside down my life has been flipped, I have never felt so confident about myself and who and where I am. I will make a full recovery in God's time, but right now I'm enjoying the ride. After surviving a stroke at 45 years old and even enduring a divorce after 20 years of marriage, I'm learning that the breaking was truly the blessing, and I'm thankful for every part of my journey. Life Church and everyone here has been a huge part of that. From the team greeting me the first day to the relationship I forged with my Maker, I can't thank everyone enough. The best part is, I believe the miracles have only just begun.